Hello everyone, welcome back again. I brought in this myrtle for another pruning, possibly the last one of the season. As you see, it's starting to get a bit wild looking again. Getting some lots of long branches and stuff, so I'm just going to give it a bit of a clean out. Seems to be getting a bit of a gap up here. I don't know what's going on here. I haven't really noticed that before, but it seems to have created a bit of a gap up the top there. But anyway, we'll have a look at it. Okay, so we'll just get straight into it. Seems to be growing pretty well, this tree, pretty fast. Got to kind of keep on top of the pruning with it, because if you don't look at it for a little while, next time you look at it, it's completely overgrown again looking. So I'm just going to try and get it back into some way, shape. You can see the branches are crossing over each other and shading out other branches, and the branches behind it are starting to weaken. So all the energy is going into these long shoots. So I'm just going to reduce them back. I said this might be its last pruning this year. So a lot depends on the weather. It's good growing weather at the moment. We had a heavy rainfall again this morning, and now the sun's out again and it's quite hot. So the trees are loving it. And again, I'm just taking out anything growing down, taking off any old dead shoots. This branch here, it could probably come off altogether now, I think. See, they start to get overgrown and then they start dying back, and they're getting thicker, and so let's just get rid of them and work on the ones then above. I think next spring I might repot this into more of a shallow pot, and more, if I can find a bigger round oval pot, like a shallower one, I think it would look better. I'll have to see what I can find. Not the easiest thing in this country to buy pots. I'm a bit envious of when I look at different people in different, like over in the UK and places like that, and they're going to these bonsai car boot sales, and Scott Winard went to one recently, and you know, they can pick up these pots and things. Here they don't really do that, and we don't really have like bonsai shops as such over here. The nursery shops, none of them really stock. You might get these kind of cheapy kind of ones now and again, these kind of ones, but other than that you wouldn't get any proper bonsai pots really, not round by me anyway. So I have to buy my pots online. So maybe I'll treat myself at Christmas to a nice pot for this for next spring. I think it's getting to the stage where it deserves a better pot now. So I'm just working my way around. Go around the bottom first and then work my way up the tree. So I'll just pause the video for a little while, do some more, and then we'll come back then and have a look at it. Okay, slowly but surely we're getting there. Just wanted to come up a little bit more. Just getting to near the top now. I think in the winter I might do a bit of structural work on it. There is a couple of branches we could possibly get rid of, or cut right back. I'll do that in the winter when I've got a bit more time on my hands. At the moment I'm kind of busy with work, so I'm just keeping on top of the trimming of the trees at the moment. But when the winter comes and I have a bit more time, when the trees don't all need trimming, I'll like that, do some structural work on some of these trees. It's not too bad, but here and there's definitely a gap here which didn't seem to be there before. I could possibly bring down a couple of these branches, maybe this one, so I might just put a bit of wire on that just to bring it down to fill in this gap here. Or is it because the sun was that side and the tree is kind of pulling the branch over to hold it? So I seem to be getting a lot of branches here growing back in as well, so I think I'll have to keep making sure I turn the tree more often so it's not always one side facing the sun. So another thing you tend to forget to do. Just trying to thin out the top here now a bit. Like that, there's definitely a couple of branches up here I could remove or change the position of. A lot of branching up here. Like that, maybe I'll take it right back at some stage. Basically start again with some of the branching. Because they grow so quickly and so thick that you end up with kind of heavy branches up near the top if you're not careful. That's why I try and keep pruning as much as I can to try and keep the branches in check. I've taken a lot of leaves off that now, a lot of pruning. So I've taken over half off it, so at least it's thinned out a bit now again. So I'm just going to have a look at this branch that's up here now. Definitely bring the two of them down a little bit, so I'll just put a little bit of wire on them too. This should be heavy enough, I would think. Maybe not. Maybe go a little bit heavier. It's just this gap here, so I'm just going to bring this branch and this branch down into there just to fill that out a bit. So again, I'm not going to be doing a full wiring on it. I'm just going to put a little 1 or 2 turns on each branch, because just loosely, just to bring them down a little bit. I'm going to be doing anything major, just enough to fill in that gap a little bit more. Seems to do. Good job. So I think we're pretty good with that one. So I can go back out on the bench and we'll have a look at another one. A couple of branches up here I missed. Front-wise, not sure. Let's bring the camera back a little bit further so you can see it fully. This possibly the front or this side, doesn't really matter, I don't think. They're pretty much even all the way around. Okay, so I'll put that one back out and we'll have a look and see what else needs a bit of working. Okay, next one I brought in is this cherry blossom. This is let's clean up some of this rubbish in last tree. This one was an air layer that I took, and as you see it's growing well. It has some deadwood in it. All the front here is dead, so yeah, it's growing quite well now. I'm just going to reduce it back a bit here. I'll take enough here and take this one back to this leaf here. This one will come right back to there. Kind of hasn't really got a style yet, this tree. I've just been kind of letting it grow, adding a bit, just doing a bit of pruning now and again. So I'm just gonna take this back a bit. I'll just take out a couple of these bigger leaves just to help let in a bit more light. And yeah, we have this bit here which we could just decide to keep as a tree and get rid of this top, or just keep this top as well. So at the moment we'll just keep growing them both and we'll see how it goes. Just pruning it back a bit because it's starting to get a bit big for the bench, starting to shade out everything. Okay, so I think that's it for that one. I just wanted to give it a little bit of a pruning. This deadwood, we could maybe do put a bit of lime sulfur on that, just to help preserve it a bit. Take out that weed, if I can get it. There's a bit of moss on the trunk there. Just clean that off. Okay, so we'll just give this a bit of lime sulfur. So I'll just get that out now. Okay, so we've put a little bit of lime sulfur into a little bowl. I got this from Notion Bonsai, my friend Adam. He has a website now and everything selling his products. He makes this himself, so it's good stuff. So we'll paint this on now. help this deadwood. And the wood is wet, so it's kind of, because it's been raining a lot today, so it'll soak in well. I always pour out too much. Don't know why. I can never. You always think you need a lot more than you actually do. When you start painting it on, you realise it spreads quite quickly over the area that you need to paint. Okay. So we won't waste that. I'll pour that back into the bottle. Stinks, but it's good stuff. So check him out, Notion Banzai. Okay, so I think that one's ready to go back on the bench. This will all go white now once it's been out in the sun for a little while. And we'll do one more. Needs a bit of TLC, and that's my samurai statue with the Chinese elm on it. You see, starting to get a lot of shooting out again. Kind of sorry I didn't repot this one this year. I think it could have gone into a bit of a better pot. Could have lifted him up a bit. Probably still could, but I'm not going to. I'll wait. I'll just keep the pruning in check. I get a lot of spiders in my trees. Luckily they're harmless over here. See how long these have shot out. And if you don't prune them back, you end up with thick branches. And you don't want thick branches on them. And again, you're always pruning to an outward facing leaf. Try and get it all growing outwards. Take off anything growing up or down. Get nice tidy pads then. Some of my Chinese elms seem to have slowed down, and others are still growing really strong. They're kind of funny in the winter. Some lose their leaves and others don't. They're all sitting on the same bench. But I don't know, some lose their leaves and others just are quite happy to leave theirs. Keep theirs on, so every tree is different, even though they could be planted. They're in the same soil, they're on the same bench, get the same sun and everything. Either way, it doesn't really make any difference. They seem to be just as strong as each other when the time comes to grow again. I don't take them indoors. I leave them all outside for the winter. You can take them inside, but I don't bother. Too many of them. Don't have the room for them all in the house. Even my tropicals, I have to go in the shed. I put them in the shed, all my ficus and my jades and stuff go in my shed under grow lights. I just set timers on them. I don't heat the shed, but it doesn't really get that cold in there. So my other shed is just a concrete shed, so, and it's been I lined the roof, insulated it, so it doesn't get very cold in there. And they seem happy enough just to sit for the winter in there then. I could put a little heater in there, I suppose, and set that on a timer, so at least I got a little bit of warmth during the day. Maybe I might do that this year. It might help them grow another bit. We'll see. We don't really get very cold winters here very often. They can be quite mild. I'm just trying to create gaps between each of the pads so that they're not touching each other, so they actually do look like separate little pads rather than one big one. Just helps with the miniaturized look of it. I'm just having one big pad. If you can break it up into 3 or 4 smaller ones. Like, you can see that there now, and this, if you can create some gap between the two, just chop them back, it'll just help to create, rather than having it look like it's all one. And on the camera it probably does, but I'll show you an aerial view of it in a minute and you'll be able to see. When they get tight, foliage gets tight like this, it's kind of hard to get into the crotches and things because it's so much branching. But we'll just do what we can. In the winter, the ones that do lose the leaves, I might go in and do some real branch structure on them. That's the only way you'll be able to see what you're doing to get right into the crotches and things to clean them out. Unless you decide to defoliate. I definitely would not have the time for defoliating one of these now. So many little cobwebs. Okay, I think we're pretty much done with that. And if I tilt it over, maybe you can see the way it's got separate little pads rather than where I can. Rather than having one big pad there, I'll try to separate them as much as I can. Could do it a bit more possibly, but okay, I think that'll do for this guy. Just wants to give them a little bit of a cleaning up. You know, sorry I didn't repot this one because the pot it's in, it's not a great pot. I could have lifted him up another bit. He could have come up another inch, which would have his feet and that out of the soil. You know, it would have been better. But next year we'll do that. You can see the roots are pretty much, this root here was as thin as this when I put it through there. It's filled that out pretty good. A lot of these ones, I don't know, could possibly take out these thinner ones now. Maybe a lot of them that aren't even reaching the soil and have dried out. All that, I'll do all that when I repot it in spring. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Pruned up another couple of trees. Yeah, we'll just keep going with the pruning, try and get as many put back into shape as we can. So as always guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.